Hey everyone, John here with Vuetify for your March 2019 framework update. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. We were at Vue Conf from March 27th and March 28th in Tampa, Florida recently. It was a really great experience. We got to meet with tons of Vue and Vuetify developers. We had some developer gift bags that we were handing out. We had around 150 of them that had some sunglasses and some other cool little stickers and stuff like that. So very, very cool. We also got a lot of great feedback. One of the things that I typically ask developers that use Vuetify is, what were some of the things that frustrated you? What are some of the things that, were difficult for you to understand or difficult to move through? Just because it helps us make things better. We have so many things in development and so much progress over a short period of time. What ends up happening is that some things just get kind of left by the wayside. So being able to kind of slow down, come back and say, okay, hey, what are some of the things that we can do better? Often get some really good constructive responses, and we actually got quite a lot of great feedback. Some of those are, and these are things that we are going to be taking action upon. More examples that are tailored towards beginner and intermediate levels. We have quite a few, examples that are real-world-esque on the documentation, but they can be kind of complex, and especially if someone's just trying to grab and go. We don't want to have our primary usage example to be a playground, which we do in a lot of different areas. So we're going to be scoping those down a little bit and coming up with some better examples that cater towards all skill levels, but also just provide a more clean documentation experience. Another thing is the API Explorer. So there's a bug in the API Explorer where components will sometimes not display their descriptions for properties. And we're aware of it. We kind of have an idea of how we want to approach it, but it's been one of those things that have been really hard to tackle. We might end up even taking the API Explorer down and approaching it in a different way if we can't come to a conclusion on it, but it is something that we are looking on. And then one of the last big things that we heard from a lot of people was PWA support, better offline, because not everyone has a stable internet connection, or not everyone has access to internet connection whenever they're actually working with Vuetify. So we are working on this currently. We have a branch up that we are adding PWA support onto with better with caching, automatic caching for going through. So basically, you don't have to go through every single page to get cached individually. We'll just go ahead and do all of that for you. Currently in progress, and something that we want to ship out with version 2. So again, something that we are already working on, and hopefully will get into your hands very soon. Another thing is more guides and tutorials. Now, I've been writing a productivity series lately, but besides that, our Medium publication has basically been kind of died down. We had a few writers that were working with us, but have soon kind of moved on. So this is actually a great opportunity for me to reach out to the community and say, if you are passionate about Vuetify and you would like to write some content about it, I would love to work with you. I would love to kind of hear your ideas and see if we could work something together to get more content out to users, because I feel that that's an important aspect towards growing the ecosystem of the framework, is providing quality content that anybody can just kind of pick up and read and easily find is another good one for their situation. In the meantime, though, if you are looking for some content and you're like, man, I'd really like to read something right now, I have been working on a productivity series over the past couple months. We have 3 parts up right now. There will be links inside in the video description, or if you're looking at this on Patreon, in the outline, the video outline. And I just kind of go through some of the things that I have learned over the years of working with Vue to help improve my process to be more productive, but also kind of figuring out ways to identify even how to be more productive, areas that maybe we don't even realize that we're doing the same thing over and over again, and just kind of trying to provide an avenue for developers, especially newer developers, to Vue or just even in general of just like, what do I do? What does my IDE look like? How do I set this up? What are some of the things that I should know? So that'll be links in the description below. Make sure to check those out, and there'll be more coming here very shortly. Still talking about Vue Conf. Vue Conf Toronto will be coming back again this year, and we will be attending as part of, we're trying to do at least 2 conferences a year. I'd like to do more if we can get there. Financially wise, I'll definitely do it. But for the time being, we've got 2 picked out, and it's US and Canada, or Toronto. And I'm also planning to give a talk there. So hopefully if you're in the area or you didn't make Vue Conf US this year and you're looking to go to a Vue Conf, maybe you have funds available from your business or work to be able to attend conferences, definitely recommend Vue Conf Toronto. It was an absolutely amazing experience, very clean, very professional, and I pretty much enjoyed every aspect of it. So definitely, if you have the ability to, make sure to check it out. And yeah, so moving on to talk about alpha, so a little bit about the framework now. So we're over 50% done with all of the scheduled tasks that we are going to be doing for version 2. Now, we have a pinned issue that is on the GitHub repository if you want to follow the explicit details of what we're working on and what has been worked on. But just to kind of give you a quick overview, like I said before, we're over halfway done. We have completely converted from stylus to Sass, so there is no more stylus in the framework, and if you're using the latest alpha, which is going to be released tomorrow, then there will be no more stylus importing at all. So this was a really big undertaking, and I really am appreciative of everyone on the team that has really put a lot of time and effort, especially the core team, which has been, you know, more than usual, putting in a lot of effort to get as much done as possible as we're trying to get into beta, which I'll talk about here shortly. We've almost finished our conversion from Vue Test Utils, from Avoriaz to Vue Test Utils, which also consequently was converting from JavaScript tests to TypeScript, which has actually been kind of a fun experience. Being able to have type safety in tests has been very helpful and made it a little bit more, we've actually uncovered quite a few issues with our testing logic from before just by converting to TypeScript. So that has been actually pretty cool. So we've got some in development right now. Right now we're working on feature discovery, which is going to be a pretty cool component that will allow you to have onboarding for your users. Or if you just have a specific feature or functionality that you want to highlight, you can easily do this with this new component. And right now we just have a couple quirks that we're working on mobile, but hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll be able to get it out into your hands. Color picker, which is going to be very similar to the date or time picker in the sense that it can be used inline as a regular standalone component, or we can throw it into a menu inside of a vText field to gather user input that way. The grid system is being fully updated. Now, we are being very conscious to how breaking these changes could potentially be. We don't want it to be a massive upgrade for the grid. What we really want to do is shore up some of the inconsistencies around its behavior and make sure that we can support as many use cases as possible without breaking existing ones. So this will be something that I'm definitely going to be looking for feedback on once we start in beta. But right now we've made really good progress with it. I'm very happy with where it's at, and we just have a couple more things to tighten up before we can get it out there into your hands. Last but not least, we've got steppers and data tables. So steppers are being updated to utilize functionality within the framework, like our item groups, and just kind of shoring up some of the functionality that was written custom for that component, and instead now using logic that already exists so that it's a much cleaner implementation and smaller in size. And then data tables. So if you haven't checked out the new data tables, they're an absolute treat. Albert has been working for, I don't know, the past 6 months on rebuilding and kind of incorporating all of the feedback and criticisms that we've had over the data table over the past couple of years. And it is absolutely awesome. It has, you know, fixed headers, endless scroll or virtual scrolling, column grouping, per column sorting, just absolutely any feature that you could think of is probably covered into this. I'm really excited once we hit beta for people to be able to actually check, you know, get a lot of people with their hands on and getting their feedback, because for me personally, it's been absolutely awesome. And then last part of the talking about the alpha, we are currently functional in Nuxt. So before it would work properly, but you would have color flashing, some of the things that we actually had early on in the framework. And this is due to a complete rebuild of our core, which has moved all of our functionality into what we call services for like the theme, language, icons, application layout, breakpoints. And we just had to make a couple tweaks, and as of the release for tomorrow, everything should be, we don't have any specific guides up, which we are working with the next team to be able to get this, but it is possible to set up Vuetify within Nuxt, especially the new alpha within Nuxt, and be able to check out the application. So we'll try to make sure that we have something available within the patch notes for tomorrow. And then lastly, so beta, right now we're shooting for May. That's about as close of a date as I can give you right now. We still have a lot of things that we need to do. We have a lot of new components to build and not a lot of time to do it. But we are moving very swiftly, and I'm feeling very confident that we'll be able to continue to wrap up the remaining features that we haven't completed yet, and then also getting it out into the hands of the users to be able to get some mass feedback. So beta in May. I personally would like it to be towards the beginning of May, because originally I wanted to have it out by the end of this month, but I am actually moving. So that's going to be taking out about a week of my time from progress. So need to be able to make that up in some way, so we've had to push back to May. But that's it for today. So again, thank you everyone for your support for Vuetify. We're about $500 away from hitting the goal that I had set out 2 years ago for working full-time on Vuetify, which actually, speaking of, which is really cool, I am actually already working full-time on Vuetify. So I have no more client work, I have no more, I still do consulting, which if you, I have projects or applications that you need help on, I am available. You can schedule time with me through the documentation, but otherwise I am full-time Vuetify, working only on progressing the framework, which is really, really awesome. So that is entirely possible due to our generous backers on Patreon and our sponsors like Tidelift and Segment. Thank you very much for your support and being able to make this a possibility. And I'll look forward to talking to you guys next month. All right, bye.